What's up, guys? Sheepshifter 23 here with Soulamazin Gaming. We're here for an edition of Dat Wrasslin podcast, episode 17. What's up, Soul? How you
What's
doing?
going on, guys? Doing good, doing good.
Not much. Looks like we're missing Streetkilln and Benjamin Rivers. Benjamin Rivers is off taking a tour of the chicken salt factory. That's real important to him. He had to make sure to get that in. And Streetkilln is at a Mark Wahlberg movie marathon at the theater. So he's watching back-to-back screenings of all Mark Wahlberg's greatest hits.
Oh, they love that Marky Mark down
You
there in
know,
Boston.
that's right. You know the ones, The Happening,
Shooter.
all the good Mark Wahlberg, Transformers, Shooters, all the good stuff. The one where he played the guy from Boston, yeah,
Yeah, that's the best one.
where he was the boxer. Anyway, so this week we had a very interesting week in the world of wrestling. We had the pay-per-views and Raw, SmackDown actually stepped up for once, kind of provided some good shows.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
So yeah, kicked off Raw with Kurt Angle and Alexa Bliss. A little bit of a congratulations for Alexa for becoming the champion, and she pretty much, did a pretty good promo. And then out comes Ronda Rousey, and it's kind of, is it out of character for Alexa Bliss to kind of talk shit to somebody that she knows can? Oh no, she talked a lot of shit to Nia Jax too, didn't she?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it was showing either she's becoming more brave or she felt like in that moment because of the goody girl persona Ronda was putting on that she wasn't going to react that way, and she kind of bit her own tongue, so to speak. Maybe she wasn't expecting Ronda to attack because she's been like a baby face, so she
Yeah.
got a little cocky. Either that or she's just getting braver.
Well, as far as things that kind of needed to happen, this was one of them. The Ronda Rousey letting loose, it looked bad still. The briefcase beat down of Kurt Angle. I'm sorry, it looked terrible. It was cringy as fuck. It did not look real. It didn't look painful. It looked like
I agree. I think the
uh,
when she threw him over her shoulder, that was great. But then when she was
that was awesome.
hitting
They could
him,
have stopped.
yeah,
right
they
there.
they might as well just stopped it because once she started hitting him with the briefcase, she was just hitting him in his hands, and I'm just thinking like,
Yeah.
if that catches his finger in like the wrong way, like you ever jammed your finger, I'm like that shit probably hurts. I'd rather just let her hit me in the shoulders or in the body somewhere.
Right.
Get your fingers jammed and snapped. But yeah, it was great with the throw over the shoulder, and then it just got cringy. Like she should have just stomped him in the corner, kicked him, punched him, something. The briefcase thing was just too much. He was just deflecting it.
Yeah, it looked bad, but it was all needed to happen. I mean, maybe not necessarily that way, but the suspension was the smartest thing they've done.
Mm-hmm.
They realized that they can't keep putting her in the ring at the level that she's at now. She needs more work. She needs to spend about another 6 months in the performance center, but
Yeah, of course.
I'll let her have her
And
month.
ever since years ago, hearing rumors about Ronda Rousey coming to WWE, remember she was on WrestleMania 3 years ago now. And ever since then, this is the Ronda that I've wanted to see. Ronda's the baddest woman on the planet. She beats people up for a living. I want to see the Ronda in the WWE that just destroys people. So, at the same time, I was glad that she came in as a babyface because I knew it meant we were gonna get this shocking heel turn eventually. So I'm glad that they didn't stretch it out too long. They did it smart. They could have made her a babyface for a year before they turned her heel, and it would have got probably pretty irritating. for me at least, for people that agree with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would have turned on her. I would have been done with it. It's not like they care, you know, if I don't like Ronda Rousey anymore, because there's plenty of people who will, who are just, you know, kind of
Yeah.
blind to that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of just kind of, there are a lot of marks, you know, in wrestling, and you know that kind of blindly, you know, look how many Roman Reigns fans there are. Granted, most of them are children, but you know, there's a lot of Roman Reigns fans. No matter how much you want to deny Roman Reigns his, you know, props, you know, half of that crowd's booing, but the other half is cheering.
Of course.
You know, it's just like John Cena. So no matter what we do, they're still gonna.
Yeah, but I'm just glad that I can say
want.
that I'm honestly happy with Ronda being in the WWE and with what's going on, because I'm excited to see what's gonna happen going forward. And the Alexa Bliss, when she first won the Money in the Bank, it was kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, because I do like Alexa Bliss, but I didn't understand it until the cash-in happened, and then I was happy, because I think I thought that Alexa Bliss was like the best case scenario for Ronda to rival with on Raw. It's gonna bring out the best in her, so to speak, because Alexa just has that kind of like mic skills, and she can sell, she can put on a good match. So I thought it was a good idea.
Oh, I just realized. Yeah, you're right. She can do that pop out her arm thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. She can. That's probably gonna be a thing. They're gonna make it look like she broke her arm. You heard it here first on Dat Wrasslin podcast. Sheepshifter with a amazing prediction. That's gonna be pretty good. I never even thought about that.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, she's gonna pop her arm out, and we're gonna get the.
That's gonna be
the
great.
whole deal. So yeah, Alexa Bliss, the whole thing, Ronda Rousey, it was all great. You know, besides the cringiness, but that was all that was going to be. You know, they should have just stopped at the throw, but I can live with what I got. You know, for what it was, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too.
Anything else you want to add to that part?
No, that's pretty good. I'm just excited to see what's going to come from it. I know we got to wait until Extreme Rules for anything, but this is one of those cases where absence makes the heart grow fonder, I guess.
Well, if I'm completely honest, I wasn't never really that excited about Ronda Rousey coming to WWE.
Well, I was, because I used to watch UFC a lot, and back then I wasn't watching WWE. I was watching UFC. So I actually watched a lot of her fights and stuff.
She was never really impressive to me in the UFC. You know, she was one of the more boring fighters. She wasn't a stand-up fighter. There weren't really
she was more technical.
Knockouts and stuff like that. Yeah. So I mean, I liked the fights. Like if I were to get excited about a UFC fighter coming to WWE, it would be like John Jones or something.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to see something kind of exciting.
Street fight.
I have to admit, I got on the Kimbo Slice hype train.
Oh yeah.
Right up until he got knocked out by the guy selling T-shirts at the one pay-per-view. I was done on Kimbo Slice before he even made it to UFC. But she's a submissionist. Yeah, we know Street. We know.
Is that a new word? What are you doing?
Submissionist.
Making predictions and words and everything over here at Dat Wrasslin podcast.
That's right. So, moving on, the next match of the night was just as good as the opening segment, if not better. We had Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler still in the show.
This was a bit of a dream match
Dolph
for me.
Dolph Ziggler pulling out the upset, taking home the win and the title. New Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler, with Drew McIntyre at his back. So, I mean, that belt might be around for a while, or there might be a feud or something, or maybe Drew goes for the world title, and they both hold gold, or maybe
Well,
Drew comes for the title.
well, you could argue, you could say that Drew was the reason for Dolph winning, but he didn't. He
Not
didn't get the
really. It
three
was a pretty
count.
clean win.
Yeah, he didn't get the 3 count off the distraction. The first time he pinned him, Seth rolled out of it.
Yeah. And Seth Rollins even went for the dirty pin
It's
again.
almost like they did it on purpose, so half the fans can say, "Oh, Drew helped him," and the other half are like, "No, he didn't help him." You know what I mean? Like I feel like they do little stuff like that on purpose to get people talking. Because some people are going to be triggered and want to
Yeah.
use Drew as an excuse.
Well, I'm glad that this went down. I wouldn't have. I didn't think. I didn't see it coming. I was like, when the match started happening, I was like, oh, okay, Seth Rollins is gonna win. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't give Drew a chance, or not. I didn't give Dolph a chance. In my heart, I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool, but I didn't think it was gonna happen, and then it did, and Dolph Ziggler is the Intercontinental Champion, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think there's some great stories to be told there. There's a million things they can do with the Dolph and Drew angle. They can keep a feud going with Seth Rollins and have some amazing
Oh yeah, them
programs.
two can put on some
Um,
good matches.
yeah,
They
I
could have
mean,
a great
I'm not.
rivalry. And it was refreshing for me because I'm a pretty big Dolph Ziggler fan, and back when he won the United States title, I was so happy that he finally got another championship opportunity. They screwed him over so many times. Not I don't want to say screwed him over, but so many times before and after, he had opportunities that just went away, and it was like, okay,
I think that's about when we started the podcast.
yeah.
Was when he was doing that.
And I
Yeah.
was so disappointed at the way that they had him to come out and just drop the title. Like it was so disappointing as a fan to see, oh, finally he's gonna get a title run, and then that happened. And I know the politics behind it and the reasoning and everything, but still it's disappointing. So it was refreshing to see him come out and beat a top guy like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is arguably, one of the faces of the company right now. So that's a huge win for Dolph Ziggler at this stage in his career. So I liked it, and I think that they can have a good rivalry. It just now what depends is they are having a rematch this Monday night. So are they gonna just have Seth take the title right back, or what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that this should last. Whatever they do with Dolph and the Intercontinental title should definitely last at least until SummerSlam. Um, let's not have this be a quick little thing, or if it's going to last, then they could trade the title back and forth a couple of times or something like that. But I want to see more Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre uh, featured prominently on Raw. That's one thing I definitely need to see.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So, following that, we had a squash match. I don't know what you really want to call this, but Bobby Roode versus Kurt Hawkins. Just when we think Kurt Hawkins might have something going for, well, I guess he's back on TV. Um, yeah, he pretty much loses in no time, in record time, to Bobby Roode. It was. I wasn't. I mean, I still don't really care for Bobby Roode.
Me neither.
I like his. I like his charisma and I like his entrance song, but I don't like his wrestling.
I don't either, and I don't know. I didn't. A lot of people, I think me and you even had this discussion before about him in NXT. I really
Hmm.
didn't care for him in NXT either. Even as a heel, I didn't care for him. It's just,
I understand what he's putting off. I mean, he's got good charisma and he does have good promo skills, but so boring
Yeah,
in the
he
ring.
definitely has
And when he was a heel,
and you can tell he has confidence as well. You know, he's good on the mic. He's not afraid to talk.
yeah. I'm just waiting for that one thing. I mean, maybe he hasn't had his time to shine yet. I'm just waiting for the moment when I can say, "Oh, that's what everybody." We did have this conversation because I was like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
that moment where I can jump on the same wagon." Or I'm like, "Oh, that's what everybody's talking about."
I'm just
Now I get
afraid
it.
that he's already been United States champion, and now he's wrestling Kurt Hawkins in like a minute long match. Like I don't know. I don't see the hype in him. I don't see him even really being much of a mid card champion. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me because he is from what did he come from? Impact or Ring of Honor? I don't remember. But I know he's wrestled in smaller promotions and he's well respected in the wrestling world. But I just don't see it, like you said. I just don't see it. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Raider Nation Sam in the podcast.
Sam's in
What's
the
going
house.
on?
How's it going? So yeah, as far as that match goes, I want to see something good happen with Kurt Hawkins, but at this point, if it doesn't, my feelings aren't going to be hurt. And as far as Bobby Roode, I'm waiting. I'm not I'm not done with him yet. I'll still give him plenty of chances. I'm not like, man, this guy sucks. I'm tired of seeing him.
Yeah.
So I'll keep giving him chances until he just bombs. I see him as a steady mid-carder or jobber or, anything like that. I just don't see him as a top guy in the WWE.
I feel the
And
same way.
if somebody doesn't like that, I'm sorry.
I feel the same way.
So, following that train wreck of a match, we had Braun Strowman coming out, Monster in the Bank, to celebrate his crowning glory, I guess you would call it. Um, did a little promo, and Kevin Owens came out to do some talking about how they were similar, and lonely and all that kind of stuff. So it seemed like Braun Strowman was gonna take the bait, and there was gonna be a Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman team up, but looked like Braun Strowman was just pretending and tried to catch him in the power slam, but Kevin Owens slipped out and got away. I think the whole thing, the promo, the setup, the Kevin Owens angle, I think it was all well written for once. Creative is coming up with some decent stuff here. Uh, the barely almost getting the power slam. I think when Kevin Owens snuck, it looked good, like how he got out of it so quick and just like slid straight out of the ring. I was
Yeah.
like, man, that looked like they rehearsed that, which they probably did,
I'll
but
surprisingly,
it was
I was surprisingly surprised that Braun tried to do the power slam. I thought he was legitimately shaking his hand. I don't know why. After he picked him up, I was like, I guess I should have seen that coming.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was hoping for it, to be honest. That would have been a much, well, as much as I like Sami Zayn, I think that would have been a better team up than
Oh yeah,
Kevin
because
Owens and Sami
Kevin
Zayn,
Owens would have, taken full advantage of having Braun at his side, and he would have got even more mouthy on the mic.
Exactly.
And then they could have
He'd have somebody
they
to
could
back
have
him
let
up.
it play out for a few weeks or however long, and then one day Kevin Owens like slips up and says the wrong thing, kind of like the Miz, or kind of like how the B team slipped up and were saying bad things about the Miz, and then Braun like turned on him. That could have been the way they ended it. It would have been pretty interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
And especially the way
So,
the crowd was chanting shake his hand. So I thought he was gonna do it. They seemed into it. What's up, my dude?
Me
Me
do in
dude,
the
my
house.
dude.
What's up, bro? It's me do. So, yeah, that was a decent little promo. I'm excited to see where, well, obviously we know where that led to, but that's the later part. But I'm excited to see where it continues to lead. Um, After that, we had Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater and Rhino. So Slater and Rhino getting their chance. I'm pretty sure we all saw. Did you see this?
Yes.
Did you see the
You
video?
gonna see what?
Did you see the promo
Oh
or the B
yeah.
Team's
I
promo?
actually watched Raw on Xfinity this week, so yeah. Yeah, that I
Oh,
forgot all
okay.
about it
So
until you said something. That yeah. This was
may have
amazing.
been the best part of Raw. I mean, this is talking about a Raw where Dolph Ziggler won the Intercontinental Championship, and I'm thinking this might have been the best part of Raw.
Dude, they are killing
Um,
it. I remember when they first broke things off with The Miz, and we were talking on the podcast about how much we hope that they give them a good storyline and let them continue doing their thing. And they did. They're just getting better.
oh man, Bo with the freaking little cheap lantern
Yeah,
and
they're like the little
perfect
$10
impression.
Walmart lantern with the batteries.
Yeah,
And you
and
see,
he did the perfect impression of his brother,
yeah, you see
and
the
that's
look
even
on Bray's
funnier.
face because
That
they're brothers. You can see him just like he literally started smiling. Like there's no way he could.
absolutely, yeah, that was golden. Um, the whole thing, the not the let's stop doing this, and then their stick, or their deal, whatever that is that they're doing, it's working.
And then when
Um,
they at the end of it, when they're like move at the same time, you're going too fast. Like when they're like
yeah,
dropping down.
it was perfect. And then we got a squash match with Rhino and Slater, which if somebody's got to lose. There's got to be a
Hmm.
team that loses, and right now it's Rhino and Slater.
Yep.
Um, I'm ready for something else to happen with them, but if they're gonna still be jobbers, I'm fine with that too. I'm not upset at seeing them lose.
Yeah, as long as they're there.
Yeah, I'm not upset. There's some talent that I don't want to see be jobbers, but I feel like Rhino and Heath Slater fit that role.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Maybe not so much Rhino because to some people
Well,
he's a legend
he is a
and
legend,
all that.
but everyone has their prime days, and it's kind
Yeah,
of like in
it's
any
just
other
it's like
sport,
Big
like in
Show.
the NBA. You've got people like Vince Carter or Allen Iverson that get a little older and become a sixth man, a good player off the bench.
Yeah,
Ray Allen for the Miami Heat when we won those titles. You know what I mean?
absolutely. So yeah, they're still there, and there's always the possibility that they get another push or something like that. So I'm good with their position right now, and I'm good with I'm now okay with the B team beating Broken, the Deleters of Worlds. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
good
feel
with it
like they have to at this point. Their promos
now.
have been
Maybe.
too good, and all the matches they've been winning. It would just be like a waste of something great if they don't get to win the titles, in my opinion. Even if it doesn't last very long,
But
they need to win them
yeah, I think
once.
that's what I was about to say. I think that's gonna be the thing. They may win, but it won't last.
Like maybe they'll win and
They
then
may just
Drew and
hold it.
Dolph will attack them or something, or AOP will come back, or something, a bigger threat.
I really don't think Drew and Dolph are gonna go for tag titles now. Now that Dolph's Intercontinental Champion.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You never know. I could
I
see
mean,
them
they
not
may.
going for them.
It would be nice. We haven't seen anything like that in a while. You know, somebody just dominating, taking multiple titles, stuff like that. It would be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
So,
You never know.
following that, we had Chad Gable versus Jinder Mahal. Um, I'm kind of, I guess they're changing Jinder Mahal's gimmick to like some kind of guru type deal or
I
something like
don't know
that.
what they're doing.
Kind of Sanjay Gupta type deal or something like that. Or what's that one? The I don't know. The Dalai Lama or something like that over here. But either way,
Welcome,
I
KG.
was like, I could care less for anything he's doing. Um, I like Chad Gable. I mean, he's a good worker, but I don't see him being anything more than a jobber as well. So, as far as Raw goes, this was one of the parts where I'm just like, I kind of lost interest. I'll be honest, I didn't pay attention to the whole thing because just seeing who was in the match, just kind of didn't care at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if something's gonna come for Chad Gable. I don't know if he's just gonna keep jobbing for a while or what. I don't. I kind of see him as one of those guys that's gonna fade out within like the next year, because you know how Big Cass just recently got released. You know they have to
What?
they have to weed out some superstars to bring in new ones. It's just like the cycle of life. So I kind of I kind of predict in the back of my mind who that's gonna be. I see people like Chad Gable and Mojo Rawley, not being around for too much longer, so to speak, because we have so many people coming up from NXT and so many people getting signed from other promotions constantly. So there's not room for
Yeah, but there's
everyone.
also, I don't know, because they're steady expanding. They're doing NXT UK, and I have a feeling that they're gonna try to do a Japanese promotion. Either may not be NXT Japan, but it may be, like how they got their allied, or they work
Uh huh.
with Pro Wrestling Noah,
Yeah.
and that's based out of Japan. So they've got talent over there that they can use, and there's places that they can have them under contract, and that's one thing that WWE is always trying to do is almost monopolize the whole sports entertainment wrestling industry so that nobody else can do what they're trying to do. It's just like they just recently blocked Ring of Honor from using Madison Square Gardens just because they could.
Yeah. I don't know. I just make this stuff up in the back of my head.
I think the next one to go, to be honest, is like I think the Ascension doesn't have long.
Yeah.
Um,
Me too.
and there's people that I think are just stale. And
That's what
like
I mean. I pay attention
No
to
Way
like the
Jose, I don't think
crowd.
he's gonna last.
Every time these certain people are on TV, I pay attention to the crowd and the energy and like people like Mojo, he gets booed. Like nobody seems to care for him. Chad Gable, like there's no energy. There's no one's into it.
Yeah, no one wants to see that
And
match. They don't get excited when he's when he's in trouble or in danger. They don't try to clap and cheer him on.
it sucks because Chad Gable is a really good wrestler. He's good in the ring. I,
Yeah,
and I don't. I thought that his promos were getting good at one point until him and Shelton Benjamin turned heel and all
yeah,
douchebaggy. Before that, he was getting better. He was funny. Like when they were like the stuff with the Usos, I think it was when he was rapping and stuff. It wasn't the greatest, but it was entertaining. And then he
yeah.
just like, and it's the same thing I feel with Mojo Rawley. Like, I really liked him at first, and he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and it seemed like he was going somewhere, and the crowd liked him, and he was a cool guy, you know, talking to the kids, you know, real positive guy, and then they just turned him into a douchebag. I don't know. It's like 1 second things look bright for somebody, and then they just get shut down.
Yeah. So, I mean, Chad Gable, Jinder Mahal, I could kind of care less for both. They're going to keep pushing Jinder Mahal down our freaking throats.
I know. Vince McMahon loves Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. I mean,
he's
I
just
guess
got the build that Vince likes. That tall, broad, muscular.
Maybe. So the next match, oh god, was Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Riot Squad.
Just no, I don't even want to talk about the Riot Squad. They're just making me sick.
Yeah, not cool, not good.
These backstage shenanigans they've been up to is just so pathetic. Like some bratty
we're going
teenage
and
girl
tearing
crap.
stuff up.
I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't.
It's like Problem Child.
Yeah. It's like they just literally need their asses beat.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not cool. It's not a good gimmick. It's not.
And it sucks because I liked Ruby Riott in NXT, and I haven't liked her since. And I think that all three of them would be pretty decent with a solo push. I think they all have some sort of potential in each one of them, but they don't get to show it. They're stuck behind this Riot Squad shadow bullcrap. They just act stupid.
Absolutely.
I think they all need a good solo run.
I completely agree. As far as the match, it was pretty blah up until the end when Morgan and Logan, Morgan and Logan won, and Bayley and Sasha weren't happy with each other, and who was it? Sasha left and left Bayley in the ring. So it cut later to Bayley chasing Sasha down, and then they got into it and had them a little hardcore street fight in the backstage brawl, if you will.
We got to see the.
It was kind of.
Got to see the hint of that Bayley heel turn.
I still don't think so.
You're still in denial. Because I see it's coming.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
She threw a bottle of water at her car
Maybe.
sheet. That's heel shit.
Oh, good lord.
That is heel shit.
That's fair.
You think that Bayley's character would want to promote to the youth to attack someone from behind, pull their hair, throw them down, to throw a bottle of water at their car? That's negative things to teach the youth. So in my mind, that's heel activity. That's not something.
She's already made the turn.
That's not something that Bayley would do. She doesn't attack people from behind. She doesn't throw stuff at people's cars. It's already a bit of a heel turn, in my opinion.
Okay. So the next thing.
I mean, am I right? I mean, if you were a kid and you looked up to somebody and you seen them pull somebody's hair from behind and throw them on the ground, you would be like, "Oh my god!" Like you would be upset.
You're putting this out of context. We know that there's a whole story behind it, and that even the nicest person can.
Yeah, but children don't know that.
Yeah.
The kids aren't sitting there watching and thinking that way.
Oh, yeah, I guess you
All
got
they
a point.
see is their hero. Like, not to get personal, but you have a young daughter, and if she knows you, obviously. You're her dad. You're her protector. But even if she,
Well, I would be like, baby, okay. See, what happened there is, see, Sasha is kind of what you call a bitch.
no, I know. No, I'm not saying in like reference to
Yeah.
Bailey. I'm saying like if she was to see you yourself attack somebody from behind, she's gonna instantly think, oh my God, why is my dad doing this? Why is he acting like this? You know what I mean? So that's the way kids are gonna view what Bailey did. You know,
So Bailey already made the heel turn. I just didn't know.
I don't know if I would say full-fledged heel turn.
Oh, I did.
It's
Did you
like,
see the message from Sam? He said, "Would I ever be special guest on the podcast?" And I'm like,
oh
"Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
That would
Sam.
be awesome."
I'm sorry,
We
I didn't see
don't.
that.
We get a lot of people who ask to be on it, and frankly, we generally want to keep it people above 18. So you're fit well within that range. I think it'd be pretty awesome to have you as a guest.
Yep, yep.
But yeah,
Sorry, I got too into that talk.
yeah, you did. You brought my family into it and stuff, man. I'm
I
emotional
was just
now.
trying to
Yeah,
explain.
I'm
I was
mad.
just trying to explain what I
Bailey's
meant.
turned heel on us.
Huh?
I get it.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I see what you're putting down. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get that heel turn. The next thing on Raw was the announcement from Kurt Angle about the next Universal Championship title defense. What? So
Shocking to hear the
Roman
word
Reigns
universal
interrupts.
on live television.
Roman Reigns is obviously the only person in Roman Reigns' mind who should challenge. And out of nowhere and kind of odd, Bobby Lashley came out.
Hmm.
Like, the main thing Bobby Lashley has done is beat Sami Zayn. Why does he? Why is he the number one contender, or does he get to be number one? I mean, I guess they've got to put somebody there, but I can think of
I think
better
it's
people
because,
than Bobby Lashley.
well, no, I think it's because when Bobby Lashley was still on Impact, social media was crazy about Bobby Lashley going to WWE to face Brock Lesnar. That's what people have been wanting. If you look on Twitter or look anywhere on social media, you'll find what I'm talking about. It's insane. People want Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And I think that the sole purpose of signing Bobby Lashley was to eventually get to this point. And we still have the whole controversial cage match from Greatest Royal Rumble with Brock and Roman where, you know, Roman touched first and Roman technically won and da 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 da. So you would assume that Roman Reigns would automatically be number one contender and be the one to face Brock, but
Yeah.
obviously that's not the case because if that was the case, they wouldn't be doing this gauntlet match or whatever it is at Extreme Rules. So that leaves it open on the table that it may not be Roman Reigns. He could turn around and win it and still go on to do it, but there's a good chance that it may not be him. It may be Bobby Lashley. Because I don't see them signing Bobby Lashley back to the WWE just because. I think maybe if the rumors are true and Brock Lesnar really does leave the WWE after SummerSlam, maybe Bobby Lashley is kind of like a replacement character for Brock Lesnar. That way they keep that big, strong, ground and pound wrestler type of character on the roster. But I don't know. For me, it was pretty exciting that he came out. I didn't see it happening. I kind of seen them just handing that rematch to Roman Reigns because of the controversy, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for it now. I'm excited to see who's gonna win that match. But at the same time, I feel like it's inevitable that I don't know. There's there's two things that could happen, and there's one thing that's inevitable that's gonna happen afterwards. If Brock Lesnar gets pinned and loses, or if Brock Lesnar wins the match, Braun Strowman's cashing in. Like, that's inevitable. He's cashing in immediately. They're gonna get him and Brock in the same ring at the same time, some kind of way. So it's pretty much a 100% guarantee that Braun Strowman's cashing in at SummerSlam. I don't see somebody else winning the title off of Brock and then Braun just not showing up. That would be ridiculous.
So the interesting part to this promo, and the completely out of left field, I was like, what? The Revival came out and pretty much decided that they wanted to fight Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley as a team. Why? And okay.
I don't know.
This was
I don't know why they deserve
completely
to be
out of left field
in the main event.
Well, hold on. Let's just slow your roll. And we know you hate the Revival. We get it. I don't necessarily hate the Revival. I'm not sold on them yet, but it's just because what have we really seen of them besides their NXT runs? And I didn't like them in NXT because they were heels, and they were the kind of heels that you're supposed to not like, and I didn't. It worked. So, I was, I don't know. It's not the worst.
To me, it's like they're bitching and complaining in the same way that Dolph Ziggler does. It's like they're stealing Dolph Ziggler's lines, but they don't have the right to complain like Dolph Ziggler does. Dolph Ziggler makes good points, and what he says is true. It has turned into flashy entrances and flashy characters and one-liners and stuff. He's right when he says that stuff. But the Revival to complain about the same things, what have they done in the WWE to have the right to complain about anything? It just doesn't suit them. I think they're not bad. They're not terrible wrestlers. They're like technical wrestlers. I don't know. To put it in simpler terms, they're kind of like Bobby Roode to me. If not a little bit worse. They're like Bobby Roode without the flashy entrance, without the good mic skills.
Charisma.
Yeah, without the charisma.
Yeah.
And they just keep getting buried. Like, they've been beat by like every tag team in WWE. They've been beat by D-Generation X. Like, I don't know. I don't get the point. Like, did WWE sign them just to make them look bad all the time? Like, is it just a punishment? They just constantly lose. He got all that one. Made him pay there. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Knocked him right off his feet. Yeah, no kidding. Sheep. He wants no part of this.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the match itself wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't actually.
It was pretty good, but I really, I wasn't really that interested, I'll be honest. The whole time I was just kind of waiting for, whatever was next to come.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it to be over, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was just cringing if they were gonna let them like get some kind of slick win. I mean, I knew it.
I kind of thought that they were. I thought that's what's.
I kind of knew it wasn't gonna happen, but it was in the back of my mind. Like, what if they shock us And this is like them giving Revival their shine. And like they're about to get their moment.
Yeah, I thought it might be the start of a push for the Revival.
But at the same time, I was like, you can't have Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns lose to these guys. And who's going to believe either one of them's going to take on Brock Lesnar then? They can't beat these guys.
Right. So, I mean, not a bad match. Reigns and Lashley win, and Revival dies. Again. No one's reviving them for a while. They should change their
Brock
name.
Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely. So, next, speaking of going nowhere fast, we've got Mojo Rawley and No Way Jose, like nearly at the co-main event, you could call it. This is the match before the end of the show. You know, there was one more match after this. And we had to sit through No Way Jose and Mojo Rawley. It was
the only thing I can say about this is why.
Yeah, why for either of them? I'm done with Mojo. The heel turn didn't save it. Nothing helped.
Nothing. The heel turn made him worse. Like I said, I liked him as a face. I thought he was a great guy. He had the whole friends with Rob Gronkowski thing going for him. He was getting all that clout on social media.
Yeah.
Winning the Andre the Giant, things were looking up. I could have seen him maybe, eventually being a mid-card title holder, United States title holder for a little bit. But they just totally ruined that chance. Because I feel like there's no turning back now. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, I don't care for either one of them. Maybe Noah Jose has some sort of future, but I didn't care for him in NXT. I think it's just okay. I guess for kids it's fine.
If he doesn't start
it
at
just
least
seems really dumb.
Getting some promos and talking, it's just like he's just a. He's just a personality. Like, he's not even a person.
Yeah, he's just a gimmick.
Yeah.
He's just
literally
a gimmick.
just a
There's
gimmick.
like no character
Like,
behind
he doesn't
it.
even speak.
Yeah.
And it makes me, when I see him, I get a little angry because his hair just reminds me of Carlito, and I liked Carlito. And it makes me miss Carlito every time I see him. I'm like, where is Carlito? Well, Carlito should come out and attack him. At least Carlito was wonderful on the mic. He was a great heel.
Yeah,
feuding with John Cena, that shit was golden. Spitting apples in people's faces. He was great.
Yeah. He was a good heel. I'll give him that. So yeah, maybe. I'm good on either one of those. I got nothing else to add to it. Unless you do.
That was just a boring match.
Yeah.
It was almost
following that.
like the Bobby Roode Kurt Hawkins match. It just didn't matter.
Yeah. It's like they bounced back and forth. They were like, let's have a really good match and then a match that doesn't matter.
What makes me mad is we had to see these matches, but we don't get to see, like, they could have booked a Goldust match, or they could have put Breezango in a match.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
There's good talent on the roster that we don't get to see. And we have to watch these squash matches for no reason. I want to see Breezango. I want to see Fashion Files again, damn it. Where did they go?
I don't know. So, oh yeah. Next thing up was Elias. Was it a bit of a gimmick change? Are we getting a Elias face turn?
I think Elias is kind of like a Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
He's a heel that you love and adore. You just can't help it. Like I wish that I lived. I live in a small city, but I'm just waiting for him to come to like a city around me and talk shit about it because it's gonna be hilarious. Like you should have seen my reaction when he dissed Arkansas. Like I like my face dropped and I just busted out laughing. I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, he just called Sheep a hillbilly. She's like, what? I'm like, Sheep is from Arkansas. I was like, that's fucking gold. It's great. It makes you feel proud when he disses your city.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that, and it was a good. This was a good promo from him. Like he wasn't himself. He wasn't like this in the city. He was. You could tell he knew that he almost won the title, and he was that close.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the Intercontinental title's in the works for Elias. And really, I don't think that the Universal title is either. But that doesn't mean that I can't hope.
I think he's gonna eventually get an Intercontinental title run.
Yeah, I would like to see him
maybe
with a Universal title run at some point.
Maybe my universe mode predicted it. Dolph versus Elias. Maybe we'll see that. Which would be cool. That's why I think Dolph retaining the title next week would be cool because it opens us up to see other matches. Instead of seeing Seth just beat everybody for a few more weeks or a few more months, we can see Dolph in some good championship matches as well. I think Dolph versus Elias would be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be a good match.
Plus, he's a heel, so you get, matches with the heel versus face thing. Because
I could even see Elias versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. It'd be a whole different kind of match because Dolph isn't, or Drew isn't, as agile and quick on his feet and acrobatic and shit as Dolph. He's more of like an Undertaker type style wrestler. Just strong.
I think it'd be good though.
Yeah.
I think it would.
I'd like to see all those matches.
So, yeah. Moving on, we had Baron Corbin and Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor and Braun Strowman in the main event. What the hell? This was kind of crazy. You had Baron Corbin getting the pin on Finn Balor, wasn't it?
Yes. Braun had ran around the ring doing his little lap around the ring he does and just totally destroyed Kevin Owens. And then
again, your favorite thing.
Yeah. It's always great. It's what Braun does it to Kevin Owens is the best. Kevin Owens sells it like nobody else could. I don't know how either. You would think someone like Finn or Seth or somebody like that would sell it better, but Kevin Owens sells it perfectly. It's hilarious. It's just funny to see him flip in the air because his weight, his shape, the way he puts that is pretty entertaining. Well, yeah, that happened, and then Baron Corbin hit the end of days on Finn and got the pin. A little rhyme there. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. So what'd you think of this match? So
I thought it was a good match, and are you asking me this because of the way I feel about Baron Corbin? I heard a little chuckle. No. To be honest, Baron Corbin's finally starting to wear on me. he's.
I thought that might be the case.
I think that, and I said it before. Well, not in the beginning. I totally just bashed him. I'm not gonna be that guy. I completely bashed this guy. I made fun of the way he talked. I said he couldn't wrestle. I said I wanted him out of the WWE. I was terrible. I didn't give this guy a chance at all. What? I'm glad that things went the way they did, and you know, the Constable Corbin thing's kind of cool, I guess, because he's just like trolling Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's facial expressions are always priceless. And I think he's doing better with the heel now. He's a little better on the mic. He's not, now that he's not, you know, having this long sweaty hair and screaming and spitting and not making any sense, and he's just actually being a dick and just talking normal. It's better now this way.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think any of your new opinion at all is the hair?
Partially, yeah. I mean, it's not a huge.
Think his
it's not
haircut
a huge effect, but
maybe more than you realize. I think subconsciously, his haircut, it made you relate to him a little more.
Relate of me.
Maybe relatable.
Maybe a little bit.
You're like, I identify with that Baron Corbin guy. He's a good-looking fella.
I don't think my hairline is quite as far back as his. His is like,
just picture Baron Corbin with a red beard, and
oh god,
there you go.
I hope Street's not listening. There goes my character again.
Okay. Soul Corbin.
No, Constable Soul.
Constable Soul.
Dear God.
Oh.
But honestly, maybe a little bit. You know, now he doesn't have that greasy hair and spitting all over the place, and you can't understand what he's talking about. He can't complete sentences. Now that he looks more fresh and clean and speaks properly and stuff, he sells the heel character a lot better, in my opinion. And like I said, I've at least admitted it from the beginning that he has great finishing moves.
Yeah, End of Days and Deep Six are both.
He has
nice looking moves.
He has better moves than those two moves are better than Roman Reigns' two moves by a long shot. Better than a lot of people's finishers.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So
any final thoughts on Raw, or
I even went when I was watching Raw. I even went as far as telling my girlfriend that at this point I'd rather see Baron Corbin in a match than Roman Reigns. I feel like even if it's just for those moves, I'm just more interested. Like, the whole Roman Reigns thing is just, it's really played out. It needs a huge change. I'm just tired of the, you know, making excuses and you should feel bad for me and I should be this, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whole persona. And then we get mediocre matches from him, mediocre wrestling.
I get you. I feel you. All right. So, anything else you want to add, or you want to move on to SmackDown?
We can move on.
So, SmackDown started off with how did it start off? Was it Carmella?
I think so.
Yeah, it started off with Carmella.
Celebration.
Yeah, Carmella came out to, you know, gloat pretty much. And James Ellsworth came out again dressed as Asuka. This was whatever, you know. Asuka came out and was face to face with Ellsworth. I think the Ellsworth part should have been done as soon as Money in the Bank was over.
I agree. I still am settled in that idea. Like I said, after Money in the Bank, like I was telling Street, I thought that it was gonna be a one-time thing. He wouldn't even appear again. Kind of like when Great Khali shows up for Jinder Mahal against Randy Orton. I thought it was gonna be something like that. I didn't think they were actually gonna give this guy a contract. I mean, this guy
no,
just got, famous on social media for wrestling women. What draws you to want to give this guy a contract? Like, it should have been a one and done. He shocked the crowd, appeared at Money in the Bank. Carmella got an excuse to cheat her way into a win over Asuka. It helps not tarnish Asuka's reputation because it was a cheat.
but does it?
I think so. Because it was a cheat win.
Yeah. But now she's lost to Charlotte. She's lost to Carmella. Taking an L to Carmella's. Well, I mean, I guess they're trying to make Carmella relevant.
I'm just saying because it was a dirty win. The clean win to Charlotte, I get. Charlotte's great. She's a great wrestler. That was like the perfect person for Asuka to lose her reign to. I think that was good writing. And then losing to Carmella was kind of a shock because no one would expect Carmella to actually beat Asuka. But she did it by a huge pop, a huge shock of James Ellsworth appearing. But I think everything was good up until he came back again on SmackDown. I don't want to see him ever leave. It's annoying. The only way I want to see him, like, long term, not even long term, like mid-term basis, is if he eventually turns on Carmella. That's the only positive thing I see coming in this. I don't want to see him. It's gonna get so old seeing him just cheat for her every week, just help her win over and over again. Like, he already did it in the Money in the Bank literally a year ago. And now he comes back and does it again, and I get it for the first time for doing it on this Money in the Bank. I get it. It's cool. It was a great shock value thing. But let it be that and let it be done.
I feel you. So yeah, I'm of the exact same mindset as you on that. I'm like, I was done. I didn't even. I knew that Ellsworth was gonna do that at Money in the Bank. I even go look at my thumbnail for when I did my live reaction. I copied and pasted Ellsworth's face onto Shinsuke Nakamura's because I just knew that Ellsworth was gonna be there. And I mean, is it good writing or is it bad writing when half of the audience knows about the big surprise?
I don't know.
Cause I think most everyone knew that. I know for a fact at one point there were Ellsworth chants going on during the match. And, the hiding behind the Asuka thing, that's what it was that I didn't care for. Asuka just staring at her double.
Yeah, that was...
like an idiot.
Yeah, that was stupid. She looked terrified.
Yeah, and anybody knows. It just makes her look dumb to me. Right?
That part of it was dumb.
Anybody, but I guess
it should have been just like a real quick distraction. Like, she should have just laid eyes on him and then Carmella pinned her from behind or something. She shouldn't have had to stand there and with her mouth gaped open and like she just seen a ghost. It was too much. They sold it. They tried to sell it too hard. It should have been like a real quick thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the next match was Becky Lynch and Billie Kay. Decent match, actually, not bad. Becky Lynch getting a much needed win. I was hoping that Becky Lynch would win Money in the Bank.
Same.
She was one of my favorites to win because she deserves it. I don't think has she had a world title yet?
Not that I know of.
I think, yeah, she was the first SmackDown Women's Champion.
Oh, okay, that's right. I don't think I was watching at the time, but yeah, I remember that.
So, but yeah, she needs more gold. Becky Lynch deserves it. It was a good match. We'll see where it leads with Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, the Iconics. What'd you think of their Becky Lynch impression there?
Honestly, it was like sounded like they're getting lazy with it, in my opinion. It
Uh,
didn't sound like they were trying to
I
sound
mean,
Irish. They
yeah,
were just kind of talking like themselves.
yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first time they
I'm
did
not.
it.
I've never really been sold on the Iconics. Um, I just never really cared for them. A lot of people, I guess, really like Billy Kay. Um, I don't really even care for Billy Kay.
Honestly, I like Peyton Royce
Uh,
more than Billy Kay, so I don't. I actually had this discussion with someone I work with, and they said the same thing, and I just don't. I don't see why people would prefer Billy Kay over Peyton Royce, but I mean, she put on a good match with Becky Lynch, though. I'll give her that. They
yeah,
definitely have
yeah, it
potential,
wasn't bad.
and they're not afraid to go out there and talk, and that's I like that. I like that confidence in a superstar. That even though they might be cringy and they know beforehand, like people probably are gonna boo us, people probably aren't gonna like what we say, but they go out there and they do it, and they do it well, and that means a lot to me, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, it was good. I'm excited to see where Becky Lynch goes continuing forward, but you got to think that they've got to introduce some women's tag team title or something, because if there's 10 women and one title, that means there's 9 women at any given time who cannot have a title.
Yeah, I know. I think they should definitely hurry up and
Um,
do the.
yeah, I mean they've got to do something about that, because all those other women are just useless storyline, because they don't use the women's storylines at all. They don't, they don't give them any conflict resolution. They don't give you any interesting plot. It's always something catty or stupid. Which, granted, that's what they usually do with the men too. But we've got to have a goal. There's got to be something to accomplish besides just needless feuding over and over again, a la Sasha and Bailey.
They could. They could also always incorporate women into 205 Live. That's an option.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until now. I remember we were talking at one point about sending people back to NXT, but maybe send a couple of the women from each show over to 205 Live. Try to spark up that show a little bit with some women storylines. Could have some mixed tag team stuff going on over there too. And because they're in the same boat as well. They only have one title to wrestle for out of all those cruiserweights. The entire roster, and they
Yeah.
only have one title.
Yeah.
So maybe you put some women over there, then you'd have a women's title, and then you could even do like a cruiserweight tag team. Like, why don't they not have a tag team championship over there? You know what I mean? I don't see why they don't.
I honestly don't think it's going to last long enough for them to add it. I don't see 205 Live lasting much longer.
Then that's just gonna hurt so many superstars because there's not enough room on the other shows to
It's going
plug
to be a
all those
lot
guys.
of guys out of a job.
Yeah,
A lot of people like Drew Gulak and stuff that aren't going to make it. You know, Grand Metaliques and Lince Dorados and
I think
probably
Kalisto.
even like some TJPs.
I think Kalisto, Cedric Alexander, and Sin Cara are like three of the very few that would stay if that was to happen. But
one that I would hope would stay would be Jack Gallagher. I like Jack Gallagher.
yeah, he's pretty interesting. But we can
He's a
move
good one.
on to something that I found disappointing.
Sanity's debut. Amazing.
I didn't like it.
From the get-go, I didn't know. Well, here's my thing. I was like, oh man, they're gonna fight the Usos in their first match. I was like, this is gonna really upset a lot of people, and Sanity's gonna win, and it's gonna be, you know, really upsetting for a lot of people, you know, because it was either gonna be a dirty win, or it was gonna be a clean win, and everybody's like, oh my god. But on the other hand, if the Usos would have won, you know, everyone would have felt like, you know, well, who gives the fuck about Sanity? You know, who are these guys to come in and, you know, wait 2 months to have their debut and then lose? So I think it was perfect booking because of the fact that instead of anybody losing, you know, while the Usos do take a little bit of kind of heat, or not heat, but they take a little bit off of their momentum for, you know, not winning the beat down or whatever.
Well, they're outnumbered.
They still, but yeah, they were also outnumbered, but they still didn't lose the match. And it looked natural. It looked like, you know, two heated teams, you know, like, you know, dude bumped into me and, you know, they started just getting into it. It looked natural, looked organic. It could have looked like they could have, I think they should have like really beat down the Usos to put down the point. But for what it was and what they were trying to do, I think it was better than having a straight up match.
I agree with you there. The only problem that I had with it is, you know, the way it played out, the fact that they came out and just beat up the Usos, it wasn't an actual match, was great. That was good booking. I don't think that they should have came in and beat the Usos in a match, because that's disrespectful to the Usos. I also don't think that they should come in and face the Usos and lose, because that would kind of make them look like, well, who gives a shit about these guys now? They lost their first match. I agree with all that. But it took, like you said, about 2 months for them to debut. I was just expecting something bigger. Even if it was, you know, the Usos were in a match with somebody else, and then they just came out of nowhere and attacked them, would have been better. I don't like the way they hyped up. Like, the Usos came out and were, like, doing a promo about the match, and then the Sanity comes out. I think it should have been, like, a shock factor. Like, they just invaded the ring out of nowhere and attacked somebody. I don't think it should have been hyped up to be a match, and then they do it. Because it didn't surprise the crowd. It didn't take anybody off guard, because they knew they were coming out. It was announced that they were coming out. I think it should have been a surprise. I think it would have been a lot better. I don't think they should have been all over, you know, announcing it in the previous week's show that saying he was coming and doing little promos and letting it be known that they were coming. I think they should have just showed up one night. You know what I mean? They can invade the show out of nowhere. That would have been more exciting. But it is what it is. I guess they're going to have a rivalry with the Usos going forward.
You think they're ever gonna? Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think that's a good starting point for them. I mean, it's better than what they do with like Authors of Pain.
I'll tell you what.
All that other stuff, just squash match after squash match.
I'll tell you what I would love to see happen with this, if this is the case, because it can't. I feel like it can't just be Usos versus New Day, or Usos versus Sanity, because inevitably the Uso or Sanity would eventually have to win, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see them just beat the Usos. I don't want to see the Usos get buried any more than they have been lately. I hate to use the word buried, but you know what I mean. They've been losing, and I don't like it. The Usos are like probably arguably the best tag team in WWE right now. So I just don't like the idea of them just jobbing to Sanity and make Sanity look good. I think this needs to turn into something bigger. I want to see the Nikki Cross Naomi feud as well, and I want the Usos need a big man to have their back. They need somebody to fight Killian Dane for them. And how great would it be if we got to see Rikishi come back and face Killian Dane? You know,
Or Roman Reigns.
well, but that's Rikishi's the Usos' father, and he's a big guy. He's the size of Killian Dane. I think it would be a pretty interesting match. Obviously, it would be limited because Rikishi's older, but it'd be a huge pop. It'd be great to see even like a 6-man tag match. Rikishi comes out to defend his sons. You know what I mean? I think that would be great.
Yeah, but how effective is how well is a stink face gonna play in this day? You know, how's a stink face gonna look on a member of Sanity? You know,
They could sell it. Come on, they could sell it. Be open-minded. A stink face on Killian Dane. Could you imagine his reaction? You just get all pissed off.
I see. That's what, you know. I was thinking, you know, what if they tried to do a stink face on Alexander Wolf and he liked it?
Oh God.
You know, he just smiled, like the ass comes off his face and he's smiling.
That too. See, there's all kinds of ways they could go about it. But it doesn't have to be Rikishi. I think it would be great. It would be a cool thing because it's their dad. But just they would need a big man, I feel, to help them in this rivalry because it would always just be they would always be outnumbered. If they're gonna be in a rivalry, they're gonna be outnumbered the entire time. They're gonna have to have some help.
Well, no, they've had plenty. Well, I mean, yeah, when it's Sanity, Sanity's a heel faction, so they're always using that kind of tactic. I was about to say they've feuded with New Day all the time, and New Day's 3-man. But they're New Day's a babyface.
Yeah. So it's a little different, or we could get what Street's been wanting, and the Usos could team up with the New Day and
Sanity team up with Bludgeon Brothers,
and then we have a 5-on-5 situation. That would also be great. Because like I said at Money in the Bank, I would rather see Bludgeon Brothers with Sanity than against them. I feel like they would fit right in. With the whole, you know, dark demeanor, the being quiet and not saying much, just beating people up kind of thing. I think it's a good fit. And those 5 versus the Usos and the New Day would put on some great matches. I think they would all work well together.
I think that'd be a highlight. That'd be a highlight of the show. I think, especially if they gave it enough time for it to be a full-length match.
And I hope we see that. And it's something Street's been talking about for a long time, and this is the perfect opportunity to make it happen.
Yeah, I can see it. So, as far as the next match, right after that, as a matter of fact, was Bludgeon Brothers and the Good Brothers. I think this was more or less just.
I thought it was a good match.
It was,
especially on. I'm sorry, Carl Anderson put in work in this match. I think. Well, they all did, but Carl Anderson, for his size, was pretty hyped there at the end. I thought that he was about to take the titles.
It was good, and you know, I had a little glimmer of hope for him there for a little bit too. So, Yeah, I think that this went about as well as it could have. I mean, I know a lot of people probably want the Good Brothers to win, but I just don't think that they're. I don't think that the time is right for theirs. I think it needs to like coincide with like Finn Balor or AJ Styles being champion or something like that, and they really push that um, Balor Club or their version of the Bullet Club thing as hard as they
Hmm.
can because when are they going to learn that that's where the money is by giving people what they fucking want? If everybody wants fucking Balor Club, just do it. You try all this other stupid stuff because you can and it fails. Why not try something else because you can and let it succeed? You
Yeah.
know it will. They put Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson together.
Yeah, I was. That's why
Come
I was
on. I
expecting
mean,
it to happen. For Money in the Bank, that was one of my things I wanted to see happen at Money in the Bank. I wanted. Well, this is until I realized that it was, you have to go after the champion of your show. I was thinking Finn Balor could win the Money in the Bank. Shinsuke would finally get his win over AJ Styles, and Finn would cash in on Shinsuke and win the title. And then they would somehow work it out during all that to make it where the club unites right then and there. And, Finn, AJ holds Finn's hand up in the air, and it's like, the title is still with the club kind of thing. And AJ kind of like passes the torch to Finn because Finn was the original leader of the Bullet Club when it first started. So it was Prince
and the
Devitt.
club was also heel, so they could
Yeah.
win the belt back from Shinsuke like really
Hmm.
heelish and like beat him down afterwards, and like kind of really show all that. I mean that's interesting, and I think it should happen. But as we know, WWE probably never pull that trigger, or if they do, it'll be some half-assed, you know, woken Matt Hardy bullshit where it's half of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But I wish they
So,
would do it because I keep ranting about this probably every week, but we're missing that big faction in wrestling, and maybe if Sanity and Bludgeon Brothers do team up, like I would like to see, that could kind of be that big faction that we're missing, a big heel faction, and it would be pretty cool because they're a real dark group of people, and
well, yeah, even Sanity's music even just makes you go, oh
yeah,
shit. Damn it.
yeah,
If they if they just dropped Bludgeon Brothers music, made Bludgeon Brothers like the last two members of Sanity, drop the whole Bludgeon Brother thing, they join Sanity, and that becomes still like they're like the enforcers of Sanity, or like even the tag team of Sanity.
hmm,
I mean, Eric Young goes on to win the let's see, it's SmackDown, so the
U.S. title.
World Championship. No, the World Championship,
Oh,
and
okay.
then Killian Dane go on to win the U.S. title or something like that, and they hold fucking SmackDown on lock until New Day and the Usos come in and join together or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could only be that would only succeed. There's no way for that to fail. They could get out there and just ring it, dial it in every
And you
day.
could
Never
also
even
have
hurts.
Nikki
Just go
Cross
out
with the
there.
women's title. It'd be like a whole new like the Generation
Shit,
X
come on.
when China was the women's champion, Triple H was the world champion, and Billy Gunn and Road Dogg were the tag team champions. And they just ran
Exactly.
house for a long time.
I mean, maybe it's predictable storyline. Maybe stuff like that's happened
I mean, I
before,
know
but
these guys obviously
it's kind of
aren't.
what I want to see.
They're not the level of superstars that D-Generation X were individually, but that that's
Wait,
always.
wait, wait. What do you mean? Road Dogg and Billy Gunn weren't all that. X-Pac was okay, but
I'm talking
overrated
more
as
like
far as wrestling
I'm thinking
goes.
more like Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Nobody in Sanity is on that level.
Yeah, but the only one at that point that was established was Shawn Michaels. Triple H was still an unknown when DX was started.
I guess.
Triple
I
H
guess
was
you could
still
argue
kind of
that.
like meh. Yeah,
I guess
because
I
I
was
mean
just such a DX
he was
fanboy
coming
that
off of that Hunter Hearst Helmsley
they
shit.
all were big stars to me.
Yeah, I mean the closest that X-Pac. Well, the next biggest one was X-Pac, and that's what when he was 1, 2, 3 kid and stuff.
In
So
6.
I mean, yeah, 6. The but I think Eric Young isn't. He's a pretty big indie name. He's put in
Yeah,
work, and he's been in the game for like 15 years.
I know.
Like when DX was wrestling, like he was wrestling too.
Yeah, I know. I do know that.
So, I mean, and I think there's some future stars in the making there. Killian Dane is
Well, I was
impressive.
gonna go on to say that could be changed with good booking and good writing. They can be on a D-Generation X type of level if they just get booked correctly and they get good
And
writing.
let me just go ahead and say that
Because Killian Dane, you're right. Killian
Eric
Dane is
Rowan
awesome. I love
is the
watching.
greatest of all
I can't wait
time.
to see Killian Dane face Rusev. I think that or Killian Dane
That'd be
face
good.
Samoa Joe. I think those are both going to be great
I was
matches.
just about to say Samoa Joe.
Those are going to be good matches,
Absolutely.
But I think it's going to be a while. If this whole thing even was to happen, it's not going to happen very soon. I think maybe Rusev's going to get a title run. Samoa Joe's going to get a title run. I think these guys that are already here established on SmackDown is going to get their shine first. And then Sanity's going to slowly maybe get their chance. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But then again, I could be wrong. They could at least go into the rivalry with the Usos and the New Day portion of it until then. But I think what Sanity needs is they need us to write for them. We're going to give them the best chance to have great careers in WWE.
Right.
I think we just need to get a job. So we need to get a job and get hired.
That's all we need. So this led straight into the gauntlet match, because as Daniel Bryan was coming out, Bludgeon Brothers were still walking back trying to celebrate their victory. I don't think they cared much for Daniel Bryan coming out, and they showed it in the gauntlet match when they attacked him after he beat Big E.
Yeah.
So yeah, he pins Big E. Bludgeon Brothers come out and attack him, and Miz. So he beat the Big E and Samoa Joe. And then after he beat Samoa Joe, the Bludgeon Brothers came out and attacked him. And the Miz comes out. Miz pins Daniel Bryan, and then it's the Miz and Rusev. So we knew either way we were getting something different. Lo and behold, Rusev wins. Rusev's finally getting his title shot. Whether he not wins or not remains to be seen. But to be the start of Rusev Day. What do you think, Sol?
I guess it's due time for it. I'm just well, let me not veer off subject yet. Like I said, I think it's due time for it. I think it's best to do it now while Rusev's in his prime of being loved and adored by the crowd. I don't think they should wait too long and let that slip away. If this is the best opportunity for him in his career so far, so it's a great time to do it. But I'm just shocked that they're not doing more with Daniel Bryan. I thought he was going to get a title shot right off the bat. I mean, this guy, the huge dramatic injury and not being able to wrestle for 3 years and all the tears and all the drama, and gets to wrestle again. Like, it's a miracle. And it's like, I just expected so much more. We got a stupid big cast feud out of it. It's like, I expected him to get instantly put into the title picture. Like, easily.
What do you mean? He submitted Cass out of a job.
That's true.
No, but I get what you're saying. I see the disappointment there. I guess I get it. I've never really been much of a Daniel Bryan fanboy either, but you know, I'm kind of missed the bus on that part too. You know, I just started getting into wrestling when he retired. I'd seen like a couple matches from him. You know,
I hadn't seen him a bit back in the day because, you know, I tuned in and watched every once in a blue moon, you know. If I was just at home watching TV and it was on, I would watch it. Even during those years that I wasn't actively watching it, I tuned in every once in a while. And I didn't like him. I really did not like him at all. The few times that I tuned in and I seen him come out, I thought he was annoying. Maybe it's because I wasn't actively watching every week. So I didn't really know, like, the point of his character or what he was doing. But he just had this shaggy beard and he's throwing his arms up in the air like a goofball. I didn't like him at all. But once I started watching again and I, you know, seen what was going on, and I looked back and watched some clips and stuff, and I was like, okay, you know, I guess I was just being, you know, douchebaggish about it. Because you could argue that, I mean, back then, me just tuning in, or anybody just turning on TV and catching an episode of wrestling, you're looking at it more from a judgmental standpoint. You're just like, this guy's an idiot. This is stupid. You're not like thinking logically. You're just basically being a hater. You're just like, this isn't Stone Cold. This guy's an idiot. This is why I quit watching this. Let me turn it off again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, and that's not for me personally that I'm shocked. I'm just shocked in general, the whole story, everything that's happened with Daniel Bryan, that he didn't get a bigger push when he came back to wrestling. I mean, I guess he was in a match with Shane McMahon, like his first match back, so that's kind of big.
Yeah. Anybody who could say they were in a match with Shane McMahon, you know, he doesn't just fight anybody.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon don't fight nobodies. So, yeah, Rusev is now going to face AJ Styles at what, Extreme Rules?
Well, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Extreme Rules. He's going to fight AJ Styles at Extreme Rules, right?
Rusev, yeah.
So that's gonna be. I'm excited to see the build-up, see how they're gonna interact with each other. There's got to be some matches or something that's gonna happen. Some tag team matches, Aiden English and Rusev versus I don't know AJ Styles and somebody. I don't know, not unless Rusev finds another partner, which he does some stuff with what, Jinder Mahal lately.
Well, what if AJ has a heel turn? Because
possibly
we could argue that Rusev and Aiden English should be known as faces because they're in the same boat that Elias and Braun Strowman are in. They claim to be heels, but people love them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what if they were more the face and AJ finally turns heel and maybe, you know, works with Shinsuke, or maybe he works with Samoa Joe for a little bit before they have their wishing.
There's a lot of good potential here, I think.
It doesn't matter at all that I didn't watch it, you're right.
Yeah, there were two matches.
I seen that. I was like, what is this?
And they were both like, okay. Well, actually, the Dakota Kai and Bianca Belair match wasn't bad. I think everybody knew that Bianca Belair would win, but Dakota Kai did pretty good.
I think she's gonna be a pretty big deal in the next couple months.
And yeah, even with the whole really bad bullying and Shayna Baszler angle that they did, I think she's gonna come out relatively unharmed from that.
Yeah.
So not too bad of a match. It was a good match, and I mean, I guess I do like Dakota Kai. She's got a decent look about her. Like her ring
Yeah.
presence is.
She has kind of like a punk rock kind of look to her, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit. Um, she reminds me a little bit of Bailey.
She did at first for me too, but I don't see it anymore. I see the punk rock chick thing in her more now than I do the Bailey thing.
More than punk rock, I see like I don't know, anime or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
More
yeah.
like
That too.
Final Fantasy
Well,
or something.
most anime fans listen to alternative rock and stuff, I presume.
No, they listen to K-pop.
I would hope not. But
Yeah, so that wasn't a bad match. And then, speaking of Bianca Belair, she just recently got married to Montez Ford of the Street Profits. I don't know if anybody knew that, but yeah, apparently they're a thing. So congratulations, Bianca Belair and Street Profits.
yeah, congratulations. Good luck to you.
Yeah, Street Profits are awesome. Bianca Belair is okay, I guess. The hair thing, I don't know if I care for that. It does look like it hurts.
Hell yeah.
Like it makes that whip sound. Like I'm like fuck, But they're getting paid. So the next match was the War Raiders versus the Mighty.
Was it a good match? Is it something you go back and watch if you have missed it?
No, but the main reason is I'm not sold on either team. Um, I didn't like TM61 as faces. I don't like the Mighty. I think that is the dumbest tag team name I've ever heard. It's so dumb, and I can't think of a better word. Like elementary or
Yeah.
simple. That it's like I can't stand it because it's like, well, who's this tag team? The Mighty.
Yeah.
It sounds so kindergarten, like something that like a 7-year-old would come up with for his tag team name on WWE 2K18. Who are we gonna be? We're gonna be the Mighty. Yeah, it's not cool. I mean, I guess they're trying to, maybe it's what TM stood for, but
Yeah.
no, it's
Then what
just
does the
bad.
6-1 mean?
And as heels, yeah, as heels, you're not supposed to be, you know, mighty. First of all, the guys are cruiserweights.
Yeah.
Well, when I hear the mighty, I thought fucking, maybe Tito Sabatelli and Riddick Moss or something,
Or that's what
or even Heavy
they would
Machinery.
have renamed the War Machine to that instead of War Raiders.
Yeah, War Machine. Yeah,
Mighty
exactly.
War Raiders.
I could go with that, but TM's two skinny little Australian guys calling themselves the Mighty, and their heels who use like dirty pins to win.
Yeah, it doesn't
No, sorry, bro. I'm not going for that.
Well, message me the answer to this on Discord because I'm really confused by this because You were talking about who is gonna be the next tag team champions, and my prediction that I thought it was, you told me I was wrong, and now it's just none of it's adding up. So just
Well, if what I think's throwing you off is that the War Raiders had this match. The yeah, the match that I'm talking about, the first one that happened is at the UK tournament.
oh, I forgot
The
to watch
first
that. That
time.
happened during the week, didn't it?
No, I think it starts Monday.
Oh, that's aired
Um,
Monday, but it's happened.
yeah. Well, no, the finals are gonna air live, but the first part, like the last 8 is what's gonna be live. The final 8. There's like 16 altogether. So the first round you're not even gonna be able to watch,
Oh, really?
or you might. You can probably go back and watch them or something like that.
On the
But
network?
yeah, yeah, but the matches are going to be live on the network. Like it's like going to be at, like, for you it'll be like noon or like 11 a.m. on like Monday, because it runs live in Europe at like 8 p.m. So it's a different time. And that match has already been decided, and it's actually 2 title changes. So yeah, it's quite interesting, and if you really want the spoiler, I'll give it to you. But I mean, you've only got to wait one more day. Oh no, that NXT episode won't air. So yeah, one more day, and you'll see the UK tournament.
If I'm able to watch
I believe.
it. I mean, it's gonna take.
Or you work tomorrow?
Yeah. You know I work tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow's Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, tired. But yeah, some crazy stuff happened, and
I mean,
I'm sure you'll learn all about it.
If it happens to get spoiled for me, I won't be super upset about it. I'll just try to catch it myself.
Just believe me, it's completely trivial. Like, it really, really did not matter at all.
Really? It's not like a
Yeah.
It's not like an interesting thing. It's just like a blah thing.
Exactly. You'll see.
Is it something that
I'll tell you about
like
it?
If you told me right now, would I be like, oh, okay, whatever?
Yeah.
It's the tag team titles and what other title?
The tag team titles.
I thought you said it was 2 title changes.
There was.
That's what I'm saying. What's the other? Well, I guess it's kind of spoiling it if you tell me which other title it is.
I did tell you which other title it is. It's the same title.
So it's just a tag. You're just saying that because there's 2 individual.
No, I'm saying that it changed at Takeover or at the UK tournament, and then it changed at NXT tapings again.
Oh, so you're saying we're gonna see a title change on Monday during the UK thing, the UK event show, and then Wednesday we're gonna see it change back or change again?
Yep.
No, so it's just one of those stupid things. Like if Dolph Ziggler was to lose the title back to Seth again on Raw, it's like something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it really doesn't matter.
No, just tell me then. I don't give a shit.
Oh. Yeah, it's not like we're hurting. The rumor is, spoilers, guys, plug your ears if you don't want to hear who the new NXT Tag Team Champions are. It was Mustache Mountain. Yeah, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate beat Undisputed Era.
Like, I didn't even react to
at
that.
the UK tournament. Purely, you have to know, purely to give a pop to the UK fans so they would feel all happy about their little tournament.
Like they actually care about us.
Yeah, and then I guess this NXT, the one we get this Wednesday, will have them
You're like,
winning
yeah,
the
no, you're
titles
not
back.
actually winning the titles. That's not happening.
Yeah. Did you guys really think that was like everybody in the UK is gonna like be like, you assholes? But surely they already know. You know, I think a lot of the wrestling world knows this result because it's been on a lot of my news feeds.
Yeah,
It's been kind of
it's
hard
not
to
really a
avoid.
spoiler if it actually happened. That's why they went to live event shows in the first, or live shows in the first place, to prevent spoilers.
Exactly.
Because I remember back in the day, you could go on websites and look at the entire results of the card for the upcoming show.
So, do we have any rumors or anything we need to cover?
I'm looking right now.
I can only.
There's one about
The only thing I can really think of is that we all know about the big cast thing, and that big cast was reportedly fired for about 47 different things.
Night Street.
Grabbing Carmella's arm, being drunk in Europe, getting into an argument with Sami Zayn over Donald Trump, kicking down a bathroom door. I mean, Jesus, Cass, you really are a casshole.
I can see that too.
I don't.
In the whole storyline
Yeah.
with Daniel Bryan, just the way he talked, like I could feel like he was actually genuinely an asshole. I got that impression from him.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I'm starting to think that, maybe Enzo would have been better off without Cass.
Oh, of course. I seen that from the beginning.
You
Like
know,
I was telling my girlfriend, like, who gives a shit? Like Enzo didn't need Big Cass. Cass needed him this entire time. Like he's the charisma, he's the spark, he's the microphone messiah. Like he's the one people want to see. It just Big Cass was just that big tough, like the brawn of the team. You know, not Braun Strowman, but he's the muscle of the group to back Enzo up when he runs his mouth too much. But who cares? He wasn't. Enzo made that tag team, in my opinion, the whole time.
absolutely. And there were a lot of people talking
It
about
damaged Big
how.
Cass when they split up. Bad. No one gave a shit about Big Cass anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Street just funny. Yeah, don't forget, Sami Zayn's going to be out
Yeah, that's
until
right.
2019. Probably the rest of the year. Probably going to be WrestleMania time before we see Sami Zayn again.
Yep.
But we should be getting Dean Ambrose back soon.
September.
And
Should be. That's what it was original.
Tucker from Heavy Machinery had a baby.
Did he?
Yeah. So there's that. And that's about all the big
Oh, that's
rumors
right.
and stuff that I've seen.
That's interesting. Interesting thing to bring up. Someone from work went to a local live event of NXT a couple weeks ago, and he told me that like the first match of the night was like a Royal Rumble type match. And the winner got to face Adam Cole for the North American title in the main event, and Tucker Knight won the match, and he got to face Adam Cole for the title in the main event. And his mother and his girlfriend had flown down from, I think it's Ohio they're from, I want to say. They flew here to Florida to see him wrestle for the very first time. So he got to see my friend from work, he got to see Tucker's wife and mother and everything, and got to see him in a match against Adam Cole at a live event. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool news. I was gonna go to it too, but I ended up not going. We're actually, me and my girlfriend are actually talking about going to one in the last week of July. They're gonna be about less than an hour away from us again, so we may be going to. And he said that there's only about 100 people there, like in the crowd. So like you can take like selfies with the superstars. Like you can actually meet them, like talk to them and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. I'd really like to.
I could have met Adam Cole that night. Probably got an autograph, took a picture with him for my Instagram. Cause he.
Oh, did your coworker get an autograph?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask him if he took any pictures or anything. He just briefly told me about that part of it. But he showed me some pictures like before, like the week before that he went. He showed me some pictures of one of his good friends that goes to like literally every single live event every time they're here in Florida, because they're here a lot. Because obviously it's based in Orlando.
Well,
so they go to different little cities for live events all the time. And his friend goes to like all of them. He was showing me pictures on his phone that he has that his friend sent him over time. He had selfies with like his friend had selfies with Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Like he had selfies with all of these people, like all the big stars from NXT.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I could do that too. Like if there's only 100 people at these shows, you know, it's easy to meet these guys, you know.
Yeah, and then you could get them on that wrestling podcast.
All right, what if I got Otis? I just want Otis. So we're like,
you just want Otis.
Look at the Dat Wrasslin podcast. Oh yeah, we're coming. That's all I want.
Steaks and weights.
Steaks and weights.
Yeah, see, that's what you're the Connect, man. You're already like just an hour away from. How far are you from Full Sail?
Orlando's about. Depending on how you drive, probably about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Well, maybe not that. Maybe not.
Yeah, that's a good trip.
Well, I'd say probably about 2 hours. It's been a long time since I've been in Orlando. It's like 2.5 hours for me.
That's a good trip. So yeah.
But these smaller towns that they go to are literally like a couple of the places that they like where they were this past time. Like you could get there in like 45 minutes, if not faster if you drive, if you speed. So those aren't bad at all.
Yeah. I definitely need to try to go to like a house show or something like that. You know, the other day when they were in Little Rock, the Walmart, or not the Walmart, the big WWE trucks, the diesels with the production trucks, they were at our Walmart parking lot. Like the big one with like all the WWE people on it, and then the one with like, I want to say, I guess it's Charlotte and Roman Reigns.
You didn't see anybody in the store like from the production crew?
No, I was looking, but I didn't see anybody that I recognized.
You probably wouldn't recognize them unless they're like in a group, because they're probably just wearing regular clothes.
Yeah. Because I was looking, I was like, man, am I gonna see somebody famous? But I had to go clock in and get to work, and I work in the back, so I was like, wasn't like I was gonna get to stay out there anyway. I was gonna like get a selfie or autograph or something, you know. But hey. But yeah, I don't know of any other.
Well, there's the thing about
news or
the Undertaker supposedly is gonna have a match at SummerSlam. We just don't know with who yet.
Yeah, I know he's facing the Undertaker at the Super Showdown or Super Show or whatever it's called.
And supposedly AJ Styles isn't going to be on the next week on SmackDown this upcoming week because he's in Australia doing promotional work. So he's down there hanging out with Ben right now. He's not gonna be on SmackDown. It's a bit of a spoiler. Charlotte had surgery on June 19th, and she's out until the lead up for SummerSlam.
So we'll see how that
Alicia
goes.
Fox was cleared on June 18th. Jason Jordan is tentatively scheduled to be back in July, and Dean Ambrose has again been at the Performance Center working on his return. So we could see Alicia Fox, Jason Jordan, and Dean Ambrose coming back in the next month or two.
Alicia Fox, whatever, but oh yeah, that's one that I saw. Mike Kanellis posted a picture on Instagram the other day where he was fucking ripped, like Jinder Mahal jacked.
Oh God.
Yeah, because if you remember, like there was a little bit of heat on Mike Kanellis when he first came back because people thought that, or not people, Vincent Mann thought that he was out of shape, that he looked kind of fat. So they, I remember reading this, and we may have even covered it in the podcast at one point.
Maybe.
Yeah, he looked out of shape, and now after I saw that picture, he looked like Eric Young. Eric Young, he's pretty cut for like a 40-something year old dude. He looked like Eric Young.
Wow.
Like he was freaking ripped, dude. And I was like, so maybe we'll be seeing a little bit of a comeback from Mike Kanellis, which I felt like was kind of a waste of a really awesome theme song.
Yeah, they could have continued to troll with that.
I could care less about Maria Kanellis or Mike Kanellis, but they could just keep coming out.
So perfectly troll worthy.
Yeah, that was such a great.
Trust me, I know, because my girlfriend would sing it to me every time it played, and I was just looking at her with disgust.
How did it go? How did that song go?
Oh God.
Something, the power of love.
Remind me, it'll never go away again. It goes something like.
What was it?
This is to the greatest love I've ever known, or some shit like that. Something along those lines.
It's to the greatest, greatest.
There you go.
Love I've ever known. Yes. That is the greatest. It's right up there with the glorious theme song.
Yeah. Here's one more quick thing. Apparently, William Regal is pulling a Brock Lesnar. PW Insider says it was a late decision for William Regal not to go to the NXT TV tapings this week. He hasn't been around for a number of months now. That's
I wonder why. Maybe they're writing him off.
Maybe he's writing himself off. Maybe we could see. I think that would. I love William Regal. Don't get me wrong. He had a pretty good career in WWE. He's probably the most well-known, English superstar or whatever. Was he English? He was English, right? I'm not getting that wrong, am I? But anyways, he was European champion runs, and don't get me wrong, but I would like to see somebody else as the GM of NXT. It's another thing they need to keep going forward with how great they've been. They need a real good, charismatic GM. And
who you got in mind?
I had somebody in mind and it slipped. I was thinking about well, actually, it was in Ben's stream that I thought of it when I was trolling about Paul Heyman being the GM on Raw if Brock Lesnar was to actually leave the WWE. Paul Heyman becoming like a heel GM, because we've had a face style GM on Raw for a long time. We had Mick Foley, and then it went to Kurt Angle. So maybe a little switch up would be to have a heel. Same thing with SmackDown. You had Daniel Bryan and Paige. They're all being face type GMs. So maybe switch it up a little bit, have Paul Heyman be a heel. And that would leave maybe, plug one of these people into NXT instead. You know, have Kurt Angle come to NXT, or even Paul Heyman or Paige go to NXT and be the GM. To give a little bit of a pop, because you know, even when William Regal was on the show every week, it was kind of dull. It wasn't very exciting for William Regal to come out and announce a match.
He doesn't really add anything to it. Yeah.
Me as a I used to watch him back in the day. I respected him being the GM, and I didn't cringe about it. I didn't dislike it, but it, like you said, it didn't add anything. It didn't make it, you don't look forward to it. You want to have a good, charismatic GM. It makes a difference on the show. Who's leading the show? Kurt Angle sells stuff. Kurt Angle is funny. Kurt Angle has great facial expressions. He's someone who can still get in the ring and wrestle. He's someone that can allow himself to be judo thrown on the ground by Ronda Rousey. Like, there's things you can do with him. But William Regal, he's just kind of stale. He's just there. And now he's apparently not been there. So I would like to see NXT get a good GM. I think they fucked up on 205 Live when they had an opportunity to get a good GM, and they got this little spud guy, or whatever you call him. That he's just annoying, in my opinion. He's too hyper, and he gets overexcited about something that's not even a big deal. Like, you can't oversell something to me, you know? Like, don't bring me a dime and try to tell me it's a quarter. You know what I mean? Like, don't oversell. Like, don't scream in the microphone about how great the main event's gonna be when it's really not gonna be great. We know it's not. Stop screaming in the microphone. You're like 4 foot. Like, it's too much. Like Paul Heyman screaming and shaking his neck, and his little gobbler down there flying over the place, and he's freaking the hell out and screaming. That shit's exciting. That shit pumps you up. You believe what he's saying because he sells it. You know, this little tiny spud character screaming about, 205 Live main event is not selling anything. If anything, it kills it. So I'd like to see 205 Live and NXT get better general managers. I think it makes a big difference on the show. I think Paige is doing pretty good. I cringed at first because I didn't think that she was going to do all that well. She's doing pretty good on SmackDown.
She's not hurting the show, but I don't think she's really adding much either.
Well, I think she could add to it if she does more stuff like the little backstage thing with The Miz was pretty entertaining. The way she was trolling him and making fun of him, it was pretty funny. If she continues to, crack jokes and do stuff like that, then I think it would add a little bit to the show.
Yeah, maybe. So anything else we want to talk about, or are we going to call it a day?
I think we can call it. I'm out of stuff.
Well,
I hope.
Well, guys,
I hope that this week of wrestling is good. I hope that we didn't get one of those really good weeks and then it's going to be shadowed by a blah, boring kind of week.
Well, we're coming up to about that halfway point where things start to uptick again into WrestleMania season. So I think I picture it like a roller coaster ride. I really do. WrestleMania is like, after WrestleMania is over, you're pretty much at the bottom of that hill.
Oh, we did skip one thing I wanted to talk about on SmackDown.
Go ahead.
Jeff Hardy Shinsuke Nakamura rivalry and the Jeff Hardy's character change.
Oh yeah, Brother Nero. Yeah, is that? I think it may be in part to add more depth to the Jeff Hardy character, since he can't really put on as good of a show as we're used to in the ring. I think it's to add more appeal to his character.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But I think
it could be good.
I think Shinsuke Nakamura is a good opponent for him. I think it's going to be a good rivalry. Maybe not rivalry. I don't know if how long it's going to last, but it's going to be a good match because Shinsuke is more of a technical wrestler. He's king of strong style, so he can kind of go slow paced toe to toe with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy doesn't have to be high flying and dangerous against Shinsuke to sell a good match. So I think it benefits Jeff Hardy in the ring to have a match with Shinsuke. I think it'll be better than what we got with Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, hopefully, because that match was a disappointment.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a good week. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about right now. The Ronda heel turn was great. The gauntlet match for who's gonna face Brock. We don't know who's gonna face Brock, and they're finally dipping in that water. So that's coming up, and you got what we were just talking about. What were we just talking about? Jeff Hardy Shinsuke thing going on. You got Rusev facing facing AJ Styles. There's a lot of stuff going on right now to be excited about.
There
You got the
is.
Sanity
There is.
thing going on. Don't know what's gonna come from
I'm
that.
super excited for that.
So there's a reason now. I feel like it's been a while since I could say this. There's a legitimate reason to tune in every week now to see what's gonna happen with this. I'm excited now to see what's gonna happen each week, and I haven't been feeling that from the WWE for a while, so it's a good thing.
You're absolutely right. And I'm actually looking forward to the UK tournament.
Me too.
And yes, Ben, I checked Discord. I see what you're talking about Kenny Omega and the WWE, but he didn't say he's going to go. It's not news. It's a guy asked him a question, and he didn't say anything about coming to the WWE. And it's still a long ways off. We'll know when we get that news. It'll be on every site that we have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy thing will be good. I'm interested to see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fun times. There's a lot of stuff. I agree. I'm excited again, but it's like we're back at the fun part of the roller coaster. There's dips and there's high peaks and valleys.
Yeah. It's been a very odd week where
climbing.
Raw and SmackDown was better than NXT.
Yeah, and well, at the same time, Raw and SmackDown were better than Money in the Bank.
True.
So there's all that, and yeah, I think we can call it good now. How about you?
I'm good.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Dat Wrasslin podcast. Be sure you check in next week, same time, same network. We'll be doing this thing again. Hopefully everybody will be here this time. Had a pretty good podcast today, I think. Even though there was only 2 of us here, we got through it. We'll catch you again next week, guys. Take it easy. And as always, the best way to end a stream